Good morning, everyone. I hope you are being seated comfortably and waiting for the sessions to be started. Just a gentle reminder to all the attendees of the first International Congress on Green Engineering, clicking the registration link provided in the chat box. So we truly appreciate your kind cooperation and thank you. Dear attendees, ladies and gentlemen, on the screen, you will also see the flow of our virtual ICGE SE 2025 for your attention. We'll begin this morning with keynote addresses by our two distinguished speakers, Dr. Wissam Al-Madoun and Professor I.R. Aditya from 9 to 10 morning. And this will be followed by our parallel sessions. Gentle reminder again to all attendees. Thank you to those who have already registered. For those who have not yet done so, kindly scan the QR code displayed on the screen or click the registration link provided in the chat box. Thank you. Gentle reminder to all attendees. Thank you to those who have registered. For those who have not yet done so, kindly scan the QR code displayed on the screen or click the registration link provided in the chat box. Thank you. start our session in a couple of minutes. Good morning, distinguished speakers, Dr. Wesam, Al-Madun, Professor IR Trias Aditya, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the first International Congress on Green Engineering and Sustainable Development, or Icgesd 2025. The theme is Sustainable Development Bridging Engineering and Innovation. This landmark conference hosted by Polytechnic Omar in collaboration with the Para State Government, Para State Education Department, and our academic and industry partners brings together over 200 participants from Malaysia and abroad. Icgesd 2025 collaboration and innovation, covering diverse areas such as green technology, smart cities, emerging technologies, digital economy, and sustainable engineering solutions. In line with Para Sejahtera 2030 and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, this conference emphasizes inclusivity, sustainability, and innovation, paving the way for stronger global networks and in solutions for the future. On behalf of Icgesd 2025 Organizing Committee, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to our distinguished speakers and participants for their invaluable contributions. I am confident that the session today will be enlightening and impactful. With that, I warmly invite all of you to engage fully, connect meaningfully, and make the most of this opportunity. Thank you. Distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, without further delay, let us begin with much awaited keynote addresses of today's session. Distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to introduce our first keynote speaker for today, Dr. Wissam Al-Madoun. Dr. Wissam is an internationally recognized environmental and sustainability expert with extensive experience in academic, research, and global consultancy. He earned his PhD in environmental engineering from Science Malaysia and later pursued a postdoctorate at the Malaysia-Japan International Institute of Technology. He also completed a prestigious fellowship at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology under the Malaysian Sustainable Cities Program. Throughout his career, Dr. Wissam has served in significant academic and leadership roles, including as the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering at Gaza University and as a senior researcher at leading institutions such as University Technology Petronas, University Tun Hussein Khan Malaysia, and MIT. Beyond academia, he's the founder of the Global Ambassadors of Sustainability, a global network of over 30 members across 130 countries, working with advanced climate action and sustainable development. He also served as a consultant and expert for numerous international organizations, including the United Nations Environment Programme, UNICEF, and USAID, contributing to projects on climate change, environmental impact assessments, and sustainable development initiatives across Asia and the Middle East. Dr. Wissam is also highly sought after keynote speaker, having delivered lectures and talks at prestigious institutions and international conferences, including Harvard University, MIT, and various global sustainability forums. His impactful work has been recognized with awards such as the Best Research Award and Best Paper Award in Environmental Engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Wissam Al-Madoun as he shares his insight on sustainability starts with skills, preparing the next generation for green jobs.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Thank you so much for the interaction, and also thanks for the organizing committee to invite me, for inviting me to be part of this conference. So today, as presented, I will be speaking on the topic of sustainability starts with skills. So preparing the next generation for green jobs. So as we all know that the discussion around sustainability started from all the challenges that we are facing currently due to our unsustainable production and consumption patterns, where all these trends created a lot of challenges. It started from pollution, which posed threats to human health, greenhouse gases that led to climate issues, degradation of air, water, and soil that threat the biodiversity, and all that fueled by the population growth and the economic growth. So these are the roots of the issues that we are facing. And when we are having sources of pollution in terms of air that create a lot of pollutants and that create a lot of health concern as well. Plus the sources of water pollution, where we are having various sources, started from the industry, from the domestic uses that create all these issues of oil spills, sludges, the runoff, and the atmospheric deposition, and that deteriorate the pollution in the environment. Plus the pollution coming and polluting the soil, ranging from the poor agriculture practices, the improper solid waste management, and the leachate from the mismanaged landfill impacts on the health issues. So we are talking about 9 million people, of 9 million deaths every year due to the total pollution in the air, water, and soil. And if you compare that to other risks, we are seeing that the pollution is leading all these types of risk, ranging from the AIDS, malaria, the alcohol use risk, malnutrition, road accidents, and even more, and conflicts. And if we zoom in the impacts in terms of air pollution, so we find that according to the WHO, we are having an annual death of 7 million people. And thus, again, due to health issues of strokes, heart disease, lung cancer, and respiratory disease. And those 7 million split worldwide, 2 million in Southeast Asia, 2 million in Western Pacific, and 1 million in Africa, 500,000 in Eastern Mediterranean, 500,000 in Europe, and 300,000 in Americas. And in terms of the global warming and the climate change, these are numbers from 2020. We are talking about 268 billion economic loss due to these disasters, where we had 63 billion loss due to severe storms, 50, which was the number of disasters that cost, each of those disasters cost $1 billion. 29 is the average annual number of global billion-dollar climate since 1990. And we had the wildfires which caused $12 billion, while the cost of the flooding in China was 35 billion, and that was only in 2020. Another statistics in terms of the cost of these climatic issues and the environmental challenges. So if we compare the cost of climate-related disasters from 1978 to 1997, so it was $895 billion, while from 1998 to 2017, it rose to $2.25 trillion. While the economic impacts in terms of regions, so that is as a percentage of the GDP expected in 2050. So the loss, like for Asia Pacific, we are talking about 2.6%. In Europe, 3% of the GDP. In the Middle East, 3.7%. North America, 1.1%. Latin America, we are talking about 3.8%. And one more figure from 2021. So the economic damage caused globally by natural disasters, we are talking about, again, about billions of dollars. This is in the US, Hurricane Ida, the European flood, 43 billion, the Texas winter storms, $23 billion. So, and in Europe, these statistics from 2008 to 2012, we are talking about $329 billion loss. And these are the sectors that are contributing to these types of losses in the environment. While the other aspect of those challenges, we are talking about the internal displacement, and we are having some figures from Asia. So these disasters, for example, here in China, we're talking about 4.4 billion being displaced, Philippines 2.5 million. In India, we're talking about 1.3, while here there's a figure about Malaysia, 82,000 people being displaced, and these statistics from 2018. While again, if we focus on one of the hot issues in terms of pollution, the air pollution, and these numbers from Asia, we are talking about the number of deaths and the economic damage. For example, in Tokyo, we are talking about 30,000 people dying because of the air pollution, while it cost $32 billion. While, for example, in Bangkok, we are talking about 6,700, while the loss is to about $2.6 billion. So if we compare that in terms of the fatalities and the economic loss, it is great loss to the humanity and the economy. And here we can see some figures about the cost of the environmental degradation at the global level as a percentage of the GDP. So the highest here is in Ghana, 9.6% of the GDP. In China, we're talking about 9%. In India, we're talking about 5.7%. So here in the Middle East, North Africa, we are talking about 2.1, 2.3%. So when we talk about the GDP, so just for example, in China, we talk about 9%, so it's about $17.7 trillion. And this is the environmental degradation, including the health and natural resources damages, while if talk about India, 5.7%, it's about $3.176 trillion annually. So after we see those numbers in terms of the health issues and the economical losses, so we have here a study shows a comparison between the climate action and the climate inaction. So for example, the climate action in terms of policy cost, the damages that might arise, like we can talk about here, the policy cost is about $3 trillion. The damage is about $8 trillion, while the inaction, so the damages will rise to $20 trillion, while the damages by 2,200 might rise to $70 trillion. So that shows if we continue with our current patterns, the damages will be greater, the losses will be, again, millions of people or fatalities and trillions of dollars being lost. So if we continue with our current trends, with our current ecological footprint, so the unsustainable living will means that we will be needing 2 planets to meet our demands. But if we change our patterns, our trends, our lifestyle to be more sustainable, we will maintain the needs of current generation and the future generations within the capacity of the planet. So we have to transform to a more sustainable production and also consumption patterns, which start from the waste management, sustainable resources management, to design our products for sustainability, a more cleaner production and resources, to transform the transport to be sustainable, to utilize the eco-labeling and certification for our products, to be sustainable, the marketing process as well, and that will transform the whole lifestyle to be sustainable. which means that we have to balance our economical growth with environmental protection needs and also maintaining the welfare of the society, the equal opportunities, and that will create a more sustainable lifestyle. So as we can see, the transformation towards sustainability before 2020, we face changes of a serious structural obstacles, while from 2020 to 2030, the changes accelerate. We see a lot of countries with a vision towards sustainable development goals, achieving the sustainability agenda. And that is the change after 2030 expected to be increasingly seen inevitable, while beyond that, we will need a systematic change to reach the sustainable planet stage. So to create that transformation, we need 6 levels of transformation, starting from education, gender and inequality, health, well-being, and demography. The third element of the transformation is energy, decarbonization, and sustainable industry. Moving towards the fourth level, sustainable food and water and ocean. The fifth one is sustainable citizen communities, while level 6 is about the digital revolution for sustainable development. So we see here the transformation in education is the first level of transformation. We have the roadmap that the world community agreed on the General Assembly in 2015, which include the 17 SDGs, which cover all the aspects from no poverty, zero hunger, up to peace, justice, and also partnerships for the goals. And if we look at those transformation, so the transformation in education, gender, and equality will influence all the 17 SDGs. As we know the interconnection between those SDGs and the influence of education on all these aspects, as well as the other transformation prospects in the energy, the cities, sustainable cities, and also deploying the digital systems for transformation and for the sustainable transformation. So talking about the green jobs, which is booming in the Malaysian economy transformation. And we are talking about a prospect of 300,000 jobs, green jobs by 2030. And according to the statistics, it was 30,000 in 2023. That will be tenfolds in 2030, while on the ASEAN region, we are talking about a target of 30 million in Southeast Asia. So the aspects of green jobs, or the fields we are talking about: renewable energy, sustainable manufacturing, green construction, are those the key sectors driving an unprecedented surge in green employment across Malaysia. And so these are high-paying jobs, and these are new opportunities for the Malaysian, and if we are talking about the ASEAN region as well, and it is offering competitive salaries from 3,000 to 16,000 monthly. And again, those emerging positions include the renewable energy engineers, environmental data analysts, and ESG compliance experts, EV technicians. So the green skills gap, which is a challenge that needs to be overcome. So the current workforce supply in the market, we are talking about 5.6%, while the demand is about 11.6%. So the essential competencies include engineering, environmental science, operation management, environmental monitoring, complemented by adaptability and creative problem skills. So there are national initiatives in terms of the ASEAN region. We're talking about some activities that been conducted and organized previously. The Southeast Asia largest platform held in August in Putrajaya, organized by the Talent Corp and the Minister of Human Resources, which connect youth with industry leaders and policymakers. And also the second opportunity, we're talking about My Mahir integration, which features personalized skills mapping and career guidance platform specifically designed for green jobs. So in terms of education, as I mentioned about the transformation in education sector, so we are talking about the education and pivot, where we need to build greener competencies from ground up. So we are talking about university integration, where the universities in Malaysia incorporate the green skills framework into the curriculum. In terms of TVET enhancement, technical institutes focusing on sustainable design, eco-innovation, energy efficiency, and comprehensive waste management. While the holistic development, we are talking about curriculum emphasizing balanced economic, social, and environmental sustainability for complete green workforce readiness. So in terms of the industry and government collaboration, which will derive for, workforce transformation, we are talking about increasing investment, where the government expanded national energy transition facilities and fund 300 million ringgit supporting the green projects and workforce development initiatives, and also strategic partnerships between the public and private collaboration, fostering of reskilling programs and certificate pathways, and that provide. So in terms of preparing youth today for tomorrow's green economy, we are talking about the early engagement, where the Talent Corps School Outreach Program introduced sustainability career before academic streaming decisions, engaging both students and counselors. Also, we are talking about inclusive transition, which include comprehensive approach, ensuring no worker is left behind in Malaysia transition to a sustainable low carbon economy. And at the same time, we are talking about quality employment that emphasize on fair wages, safe working conditions, and equal opportunities across all green job sectors in the career pathways. So it's time to act now, where on the Malaysian level, on the Malaysian scenario, again, it is a scenario where Malaysia has the potential to have the regional leadership to lead in terms of the ASEAN Green Workforce Revolution and Sustainable Development initiatives, where there is critical actions needed in terms of closing the green skills gaps through education, training, and collaboration, which is essential to achieve sustainable growth and climate goals. I think this is what I wanted to with you today. So thank you so much for inviting me, and it's my pleasure to collaborate in the future. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organizers of Icgesd 2025, we sincerely thank Dr. Mesam for the inspiring presentation. Your insights on equipping future generations with the right skills and mindset for green jobs are truly invaluable. Thank you once again for your meaningful contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you. Distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce our second keynote speaker today, Professor I.R. Trias Aditya. Professor Trias is a leading academic from the Faculty of Engineering, Universitas Gadjah Mada, UGM, Indonesia, specializing in geomatic engineering, spatial data infrastructure, and geospatial information systems. He is also deeply involved in the fields of geography, geovisualization, and land informatics, making significant contributions to both research and education in these areas. Over the years, Professor Trias has led and contributed to numerous research clusters and projects, particularly in cartography and geovisualization, geospatial infrastructure, and 2D and 3D land informatics. His academic leadership is widely recognized, and he has earned prestigious professional certifications, including Insignor IR, IPU Professional Engineer, and ASEAN. Beyond his scholarly achievements, Professor Trias is highly respected for his role in advancing geospatial sciences in Indonesia and the ASEAN region, bridging engineering, data science, and geospatial technologies to support innovation and sustainable development. Today, we are honored to have him share his expertise and insights on keynote speech entitled Pioneering Sustainable Development, the Role of Geodetic Engineering in Shaping a Greener Future, drawing from his extensive academic research and professional experience. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our next keynote speaker, Professor I.R. Aditya.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear my voice? Miss Nelanie? Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Morning.
Let me share my screen first.
Yeah, sure. I give
Okay.
you the slides. Yeah.
All right. So I'd like to thank first for the committee that has invited me to this excellent seminar. And I think the topic brought by the committee is very relevant. And I'd like to share from my perspective as a lecturer and researcher in the field of geodetic engineering in one of the Asia continent that is very active in terms of economy, but also in terms of the hazard threat. And especially thank you because we are neighboring countries and we have to work together. We have to collaborate to advance our region. So navigating sustainable development is my presentation. And let me first, yeah. Yeah, the role of geodetic engineering in shaping a greener future. First of all, I'd like to elaborate the global perspective and challenge. And then after that, I'd like to show my perspective about the field that I'm working on from my first graduate till now, especially in surfing evolution and how our profession or my profession can shape a greener or contribute to the greener future and what can be done as an academician, as a student as well. First of all, I'd like to introduce the field of study that I graduated about 30 years ago. It's about geodesy, and when people or will notice about the geodetic engineering or geodesy, most of them are not certainly known, at the first time, because although it is a very old field of study, but it's not popular, and we have to acknowledge that geodesy, geodetic engineering is not a popular field of study. But I'd like to be, let's say, I'd like to motivate all of us that although this is not popular study, but the demand for this study is actually very high. And when we look at the current literature, we can differentiate actually the geodetic engineering as an accurate survey and mapping on the dynamics, processes, and geospatial phenomena against the time and spatial reference systems. So at least what I'm proud of about this study is we study about time and location. Two elements in our life that is very important. And when it's applied to the community, to the society, we can differentiate higher geodesy and engineering geodesy. Higher geodesy talk about the plate movement, about the polar shift, about the deformation, etc., etc. But while engineering geodesy, we know from the everyday lives that we have transportation, we have houses, we have parks, etc., that needs a precise and accurate location, accurate measurements. And that's why most of the time we know that engineering geodesy is just about measurements. But actually, it's beyond of that. Yeah, when we talk about the space, the planet that we live, this is actually also related to the 5P partnership, peace, prosperity, people, and planet. 5 elements that driving sustainable development. It promotes, the effective land administration and management. And at the same time, the effective land administration and management, or FELA, supports the achievement of partnership, peace, prosperity, people, and planet. And in our department, in Department of Geodetic Engineering, we specifically mention in one of our missions is that we study and develop solutions and tools where survey and mapping can be applied to advance the 17 goals. Because when we talk about location, time, the 2 elements that are very important in our life, we study about geodesy mostly. So that's why when we talk about, I will narrow down in my presentation about the FELA, Effective Land Administration and Management. It consists of land policy, land tenure, how we register, how we acknowledge the land ownership, the land use, and also land valuation, how we develop controls, tools, policies, and measurements in order to make the land market grows very fast, but at the same time also healthy. And we talk about land development and land use planning, and that's all are about land management. So how we deal with that? Geodesy has passed the times, and actually geodetic surveyor is one of the oldest profession in the world, as we know. But then across the centuries, we have experienced what we call as evolution. The first evolution about machinery, the second evolution about electricity, the third evolution about the computer, the fourth evolution is about internet, the fifth evolution about how artificial intelligence, brain, machine interfacing, and etc., etc. We will progress, or we will face many evolution in the future. But we have also acknowledged at the moment that automation, digital twin, digitalization, the data integration are among the trends, among the hot topics that also crossing all fields of study, including geodesy or geodetic engineering. And when we talk about the industry revolution, automation integration to SDGs, how we can do before, one of our mission in the department is to advance SDG initiatives using methods and tools to create knowledge and to support decision, relying on the survey, measurements, modeling, and the visualization of land, sea, and the built environment in our rapidly changing and complex world. Okay, this is just an example how the survey and mapping and data processing related to coordinates can really useful and meaningful to the efficiency and to the sustainable development of a process. This is the old process. For example, when we talk about the upstream, downstream process in oil industry, for example, how the integration, digital transformation of geodetic reference system networks and database for upstream and downstream business can influence, can change the efficiency, yeah, can improve the efficiency. How the integrated 3D geospatial database of land and infrastructure can cut off many budgets, unnecessary budgets, for providing effective and efficient business operations, yeah, in the upstream, and etc. etc. At the moment, we are also working together with our government agencies how we can visualize land and spatial business, spatial governance to create scenarios how SDG can be advanced by government initiatives, especially the Ministry of Agrarian and Spatial Planning, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Forestry, Ministry of Public Works, because all these ministries working on the field to create what the traditional survey and mapping recognize, survey and mapping for the development. But we also have to realize that now it's not only development. Now it's also about conservation. And that's why greener future can be realized when the survey and mapping industry also recognize the importance of SDGs. Now, this is a simple example how land measurements and 3R mapping, rights, restriction, responsibilities mapping, can provide benefits when all this information about polygons, about lines, about points of our properties, of public properties, can be mapped together to create an integrated view about the land property, yeah, mirroring what in the world, yeah, in the reality. So, for example, this is about the disaster land management that involve land property ownership, that involve planning, that involve the hazard prediction, and in mitigation, we can then completely and effectively provide plan how many land parcels should be mitigated, should be relocated, etc., and what not only economic costs, but also social costs that must be calculated. Social costs, environmental costs that must be calculated. When we have a complete data, then we can provide other expertise from social science field, from the environmental field to process their own analysis. This is about the law in our country, how actually rights, restriction, and responsibilities are all already written in the law, but then the challenge is how we translate the restriction, responsibility, rights into the maps. And this is where geodetic engineering can provide solutions. Before we talk about the solution, we like to see the surveying solution, surveying evolution. We know from the Icgesd story, we know from the pyramid story, we know from the development of railway in United States. All surveyors are very important. And when we talk about today's development in my country, in your country, not only about development, but also about the protection, but also about the conservation. And that's why now surveyor tradition is challenged, that the measurements about properties, measurements about points, measurements about all what we can see in the world, also beneath the ground, should be evaluated. And that's why we also have to understand about risk insurance. We have to know about the concept of the disaster risk reduction. Why? Because in order to provide a solution for insurance, to provide the rapid mapping for disaster reconstruction, we have to understand what need to be collected, what need to be analyzed. And that's why from the previous experience, because in Indonesia we have a lot of disasters, not only from the floods, but especially from the mountains, volcanoes are becoming the first responders for these disasters. Okay, I'd like to continue then to the profession, yeah? One of the main goal in studying in a geodetic surveyors for our students is then one of the profession that mostly they choose in their career path is as surveyors, devices using total station devices to conduct survey and mapping. But it's also how we can survey, quantify the building, how we can design the roads, using our alignments, measurements, using our point survey, etc. So when we look at the US, UK, European Union, including Malaysia and Indonesia, surveyor again is one of the oldest profession and respected profession in the country, in most countries. Why? Because all actually recognize the importance of surveyors. But the problem is sometimes it's quite tricky, and it's quite very challenging when we look at the other parts of the world. For example, in Europe, we see in the Western Europe more and more, less and less geodetic engineering undergraduate program is available there. As a consequence, although the market there is still open for surveyors, but they don't have enough supply. And that's why they are inviting more surveyors from neighboring countries, from Eastern Europe, and also maybe from Malaysia as well. Yeah. So the trend is continuing, but I think luckily, and this can be an opportunity for us, Malaysia and Indonesia. In Indonesia, the geodetic engineering education, especially for the undergraduate, is growing. Before 2000, we only have 3 undergraduate study in geodetic engineering. Now we have more than 15. And the good thing that although it's not popular, yeah, geodetic engineering is not popular when compared to, for example, information engineering, electrical engineering, or chemical engineering, but the absorption to the industry is quite good. Yeah, it's among the highest, let's say, the highest or the shortest waiting period for new graduates to enter to the industry or to first job. Yeah, so that's also a good thing for us. And also in Malaysia, we know there's licensed surveyors, and actually licensed surveyors can be land surveyors, but also engineering surveyors. These two, land surveyors and engineering surveyors, can contribute very well to the greener future of our planet. Because when we look at the definition of the surveyors, it's not just cadastral surveying, it's not just building surveying, but it's also land use planning, yeah, geodesy, geospatial, and quantitative surveyors. Okay, and sorry, it's a mix in Bahasa Indonesia, but when we look at the international community, we have an International Cartographic Association. We call it a cartographer. We have an International Society for Photogrammetry and Remote Sensing, for photogrammetric engineer. We have an International Hydrographic Organization for hydrographic surveyor. We also International Federation of Surveyors that combine or the place where all surveyors, especially national bodies dealing with surveyors, should refer to. And then we have also International Association of Geodesy. 2 of them, especially the FIG and IHO, yeah, this is really related to surveying provision. The other 3 related to community science. Okay, now when we talk about uncharted territory, at that time in Indonesia we have a second phase of the big project related to one map policy, and now the government and also the donors also start to realize that not only collecting data, and also not only processing data, but the activities after collecting and processing data are very important, especially how the monetizing the data, how the data can be really useful for market, for business activities. That's something that now are realized. And that's why when we look at the surveying spectrums, we can see that the traditional surveying profession must cope as far as fast as possible to really provide competencies, yeah, to to master technological frontiers of survey and mapping. Because when we talk about mapping and surveying, it's not only mapping about land, it mapping about objects, it mapping about addresses, it mapping values, and every boundaries. We should map that, and that's the why the surveyors are there. But we have also to remember that the new world of surveying traditions now is challenged. We have to expand, because at the moment it's not only about distance it's not about point surveying. Now it's about massive point collecting, yeah, with LiDAR, point clouds capturing data. We get a lot of further possibilities with the data, not only about the dimension, but also the appearance, about their intensity, about their values. Now, when we look at the need for the position, for cars, for transactions, we have to understand that the blockchain, the security, the crypto spatial is there, and it's not too late for us as a surveyor to join, to study and to master. And that's why we have to think about the body of knowledge of the surveying education. Is it enough just studying about the mathematics, maths, physics? We need to master. The other thing is about the thematic frontiers. In thematic frontiers, we look at the moment urban digital twin, yeah, land and infrastructure survey data integration is a must for the city management. And we look at the moment that the photovoltaics, the energy reduction, energy let's say incentives for the houses that using solar panels are need our profession, yeah. Using photogrammetry, we have to extract which roofs facing to the north, facing to the south, facing to the east, etc., etc. And using our profession and also our methods, now carbon capture, carbon storage is becoming also trend. Why? Because using our tools, our technologies, we can provide precise and accurate information about the green objects that we like to capture, but also the threats, yeah, in terms of pollution, in terms of pollution, we have to capture it using IoT information into our land parcels. So the new world of surveying tradition then also bring us to the metaverse, spatio-temporal environment, where in the traditional survey, we have to survey with the stakeholders in the same time, in the same place. When we look at the technology, how technology can combine 4 elements, same place, same time, different place, different time, these 4 elements can be combined in a way with different technologies. Now, I like to skip this. How then the geodetic engineering can provide effective local land management? this is a recapitulation from what has been done by our research group. Well, first, we study or we focus on the quality of the data. Data quality is a must. Data quality is, the starting point for us to develop digital twin. Yeah, at the end. Why? Because if the complete and high quality of legal and fiscal cadastre are not there, then we can not develop, let's say, digitalization. We cannot integrate the data in a good manner. We cannot ask other people to collaborate to the platform that we develop. And that's why the quality is a must. And to realize this data quality for land management, sometimes or many times, we have to develop or to implement what we call forensic cadastre, how we can trace, how we can track the records, the document, the data in order to plot, to replot, yeah, in a good quality. Because sometimes, because of the sporadic approach, yeah, the data is not transformed into digital in a complete way. Yeah? And that's why we need a block adjustment. So you can see that our provision and our education in surveying, engineering, geodetic engineering is still relevant to contribute to the improvement of the data, because data quality in a age of AI even is very important. It's very critical. When the quality is okay, then the digitalization, the integration, the collaboration, how land administration services, same time, different places can be delivered. Yeah, land administration services can be delivered in many. Give you a background about this digital twin. So this is a project that at the moment the Jakarta province asks the university, our university, to provide the 3D city model of the city from the point clouds, and then how this can be used as a platform to manage the land, building, planning, permits in a one platform. And at the moment, the 3D city model still is ongoing. We still processing this because the project is in this year. But we can then make a prototype how we can, let's say, combine the platform, the 3D platform, with the IoT, live CCTV, but also the real-time movement of the public bus, public train, and also we can connect this to the traffic, the traffic, and then we can also combine with the transaction, land transaction, in front of notary, registered to the land office. It's then suddenly at the same time it's published in the platform, and then in the near real time we can see what our transactions are, and this is very important for the government. Okay, so this is also used or good for tax property, but also we at the moment trying together to work with the pit concessions, the company having mining operations, to develop digital twin for mining operations. Why? Because the requirements for the green, for the sustainable development goals are very high at the moment for the mining operations. And with this IoT use and 3D platform, we can then monitor in near real time about the weather, meteorology, about the water high level in a site, the water quality, the slope, landslide movement, if there is, and then surface level and unit mobility. All can be, let's say, monitored. These locations movement can be monitored in one platform. This is from the one of the solution you can see from their website as well, from Dassault France, how 3D Geo is combined with GIS IoT into digital twin for having not only prescriptive about what have been done, but also predictive. Okay. Now, it's also can be used to the site, to the factory, and machine learning, deep learning. So sometimes something that now becoming one of the core curriculum in geodetic engineering. And this is what I mentioned. Yeah, we can work or deliver the land administration services at the moment, same place, different place, different time, and same time. So, for example, when this is the traditional one, the left top corner. Yeah, the traditional one, we do survey, we do participatory mapping, but then using different time, different place, we can use, let's say, virtual reality. At that time, we also develop some tools for that. And same time, different place, we can make use of augmented reality, and the owner of the land, for example, from their home, using Zoom or Google Meet, like we are now, can control and contribute to the activity. So we can see that collaboration mechanics in cadastral survey can also be done with augmented reality and virtual reality. For example, for surveyor and valuer, this is the tool that we develop at the moment. In the right side, surveyor and valuer go to the field, let's say capture using their camera on the ground, and then the boundary lines and the attributes are given. Yeah. In 2019, we also developed solution, the mobile phone for field surveyor, that can be connected to geodetic GNSS to provide a good, accurate measurements. So we are really look forward to the development. Yeah. Okay.
Excuse me, Professor Trias.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. We have 2 minutes to go.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. This is my 3 last slides.
Okay, carry on then. Thank you.
Okay, this is the virtual reality application that we are developing. And now, as you see in the right-hand side, this is a scenario where the planner, the planner can inspect the cadastral objects in order to develop a good understanding about the area, not just looking from helicopter view, but also from the bird view, but also from the first person view. Yeah. So this is the application that we developed for augmented reality. It's used for surveyor and land valuer. And well, this is it. I just want to say that for greener future, we have new territory, the same necessity, but we have to improve our technical proficiency, the problem-solving analytical skills, and also to hold our ethical and professional conducts in order to be a better surveyor. That's all from me. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are truly honored to have heard the keynote speech entitled Pioneering Sustainable Development, the Role of Geodetic Engineering in Shaping a Greener Future. Thank you, Professor I.R. Trias Aditya, for sharing your expertise and valuable perspectives drawn from your extensive academic, research, and professional experience. Your insights have inspired us further explore the role of genetic engineering in advancing sustainability. Distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we conclude our keynote address session. We have been privileged to hear from distinguished experts who have shared invaluable insights on sustainability, skills of future, and the role of engineering and innovation in shaping the greener world. On behalf of the organizers of Icgesd 2025, I extend a sincere appreciation to our keynote speakers for their thought-provoking contributions, and to all participants for your attentive engagement. Let us now carry forward the knowledge and inspiration gained from this session into our discussions and parallel presentations ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed with the next session, we would like to kindly request all participants to turn your cameras for a moment so that we can capture a virtual photo session together. Your smiles and presence will make this memory even meaningful. Thank you for your cooperation. We will wait for a couple of minutes for the rest to turn on their cameras. And I have my friend here, it's the one to have this caption. Thank you. Okay, the count. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organizers, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to our keynote speakers today for their insightful presentations and to all attendees for your participation in this session. We now invite you to join the parallel sessions, where engaging discussions and presentations will continue. The details of the session can be obtained by scanning the parallel session QR code or by clicking the link provided in the chat box. Thank you, and we wish you a productive discussion again.